The MotoGP paddock is heating up again, but not due to aggressive on-track duels this time. A candid confession from Davide Tardozzi has shaken the championship's atmosphere. The Ducati course boss spoke bluntly, and his message struck a chord with one team: Valentino Rossi's VR46 racing team. Despite Ducati's near-absolute dominance throughout the 2025 season, one glaring fact stands out. VR46 is the only Ducati team yet to secure a victory. What exactly did Davide Tardozzi confess that has heated up the MotoGP paddock once again? Let's discuss it. Valentino Rossi never truly left MotoGP. After retiring at the end of 2021, he returned by building his own team. VR46 was born in 2022, not as a fun team, but as a serious project carrying the legendary racing philosophy into a new era. By the second season, there were signs of hope. Marco Bezzecchi brought wins, podiums, and an aggressive identity that earned VR46 respect. However, since the 2023 Indian Grand Prix, the team's performance has slowly declined. The big name remains, but the results are slipping away. Rather than withdrawing or distancing themselves, Ducati is taking a further step in the 2025 season. The VR46 racing team now has full factory support, a clear sign of confidence from Borgo Panigale. Fabio Di Giannantonio has been entrusted to ride the Desmosedici GP25, the most lethal bike on the current grid and the same one used by Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia in their battle for supremacy. Meanwhile, Franco Morbidelli remains competitive on the GP24, a fast and stable package proven throughout the previous season. Technically, the VR46 is virtually flawless. The engine, aerodynamics, and factory data are all top-notch. However, MotoGP is not just about technical specifications. Pressure, team dynamics, and execution on the track often determine whether potential becomes actual results. While Ducati parties, VR46 remains silent. Fabio Di Giannantonio earned 4 podiums. Franco Morbidelli had 2 third-place finishes. These results looked impressive on paper, but they lacked historical significance. There were no wins. There were no iconic moments that shook the paddock. There was no single statement of power that truly defined the team's identity. Meanwhile, Ducati was celebrating without restraint. Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia swept to 13 wins on the Desmosedici GP25, dominating the track in an almost ruthless manner. Alex Marquez and Fermin Aldiger added 4 more wins on the GP24, ensuring that the red of Bologna's supremacy was felt almost every race weekend. The Desmosedici reigned supreme on every circuit, setting the highest standard. The mounting pressure finally forced VR46 to speak out. Pablo Nieto, the team boss, emerged from behind the garage door and delivered an assessment that sounded cold and straightforward, yet fraught with meaning and anxiety. We have to improve our performance. We can't just be here to participate. VR46 has to fight for something meaningful, he said, not trying to sugarcoat the reality. This wasn't just a casual statement, but an honest admission that MotoGP had changed. Valentino Rossi's privileged status, fame, and close ties with Ducati were no longer enough to survive, let alone compete in the modern MotoGP era, which demands results. Amid the pressures of the season, Davide Tardozzi chose a path of honesty rarely taken by factory executives. In an official interview, the Ducati course boss firmly refused to blame the bike or the VR46 satellite team's internal structure. We are happy with the VR46 team's work. They are important to Ducati and very professional in every aspect, Tardozzi said diplomatically. But after the praise came the main message. Tardozzi pointed out that the performance of certain riders did not reflect the full potential of their equipment. Franco Morbidelli and Marco Bezzecchi were inconsistent throughout the season. There were too many ups and downs, which did not reflect the quality of the team's work or the support we've received. In the MotoGP paddock, this statement was immediately interpreted as a warning. Ducati still stood behind VR46, but the expectation bar was raised. For the manufacturer that has dominated the modern era of MotoGP, results on the track are the main currency, not explanations. there is also no boundless patience. Valentino Rossi chose a different path. Amid the increasing spotlight and pressure, the legend didn't get carried away. There was no excessive defence nor any counter-attack. I understand what David is saying. Ducati has given us everything: support, the best bike, and complete trust. In conditions like these, we can't pretend that the results are enough, he said frankly. However, Rossi rejected overly simplistic assessments. He noted that racing cannot be measured solely by numbers and standings. Racing is not simple mathematics. There's immense pressure, a slow adaptation process, and difficult phases to overcome. Every team experiences this, he continued. For Rossi, VR46 isn't a quick project expected to produce immediate results in one season. This team was built with a long-term vision, a process demanding patience and consistency. Rossi's words reflect a resolute belief and a full awareness that time waits for no one. The pressure and expectations will continue to rise, and VR46 has reached a point where it can no longer delay proving itself. Ducati is now fully focused on the future. The Desmosedici GP26 project is already underway, with a focus on establishing a long-term technical foundation. The new MotoGP regulations demand extreme precision, maximum efficiency, and rapid adaptation. In this era, teams are judged not by fame or history, but by their tangible contributions, the quality of data sent to the factory, clear development direction, and, most importantly, victories on the track. There's no room for mere safety. This puts VR46 in a precarious position. Valentino Rossi's name still carries weight, but modern MotoGP lacks romance. This championship is ruthless, cold, and results-driven. Without measurable progress, stagnation is not just a risk, but a real threat to Ducati's sustainability. Conversely, Ducati insists that Francesco Bagnaia rebuild his performance with a more independent approach heading into the 2026 MotoGP season. The 2025 season was difficult for the two-time world champion. He struggled to master the Desmosedici GP25, achieving only 2 wins and finishing 5th in the final standings. He was significantly behind Marc Marquez in points. His inconsistent performance from weekend to weekend has become a major concern for the Italian manufacturer. Ducati believes that the key to Bagnaia's revival is not simply copying his teammates' data, but rather finding settings, a style, and a development direction that suit his needs. Ducati believes that every rider is different, and what works for one rider may not work for another. Bagnaia must follow a focused approach with clarity of direction and patience if he hopes to return to his best in the new MotoGP era of 2026. Next season is not just a continuation of what has already happened. It is a test that will determine future direction. Will VR46 be able to recover and adapt to become a true force within Ducati's increasingly competitive structure? Or will the upcoming season serve as a reminder that, in modern MotoGP, a great history and legendary names alone are insufficient without tangible results on the track? Share your thoughts below